Chairman, this is the first time we've seen a nominee displaying some material behind him. I just want the honorable nominee to indicate to us what he wants us to know about the items displayed behind him.
I said it's fortunate that on such a policy or decision, major political parties agree on that. And again, as when I was asked to handle this ministerial position, people volunteered. I also went on the net, I read books, I went to statistical service, got material, and it's that this is something that has agitated the minds of Ghanaians for a very long time. In fact, a member of parliament told me that if you come to, if I may mention, say the Ahafo constituency, region talking about, they've been talking about this matter for about 30 years. 30 years. And he gave me an insight to what has been happening. There's so much material on the net about letters that have been written, especially about Northern region and how it should be done. I even was told by another member of parliament here about a paper that was presented by Professor Kofi Kumado, when he even suggested that Ghana should have 20 regions. And it was very interesting reading that. So many people, it seems to be a topic that people have really dealt with for some years. And if you look on this map, especially...
Chairman, sorry to interrupt. Before you do your geography lessons, so far we've had Western region, we've had OT, you've come to Northern region, you've indicated that you're Ahafo. Now, that's a 4.
Yes, please.
This is the 4 that we expect that you appoint a commission of inquiry to start the process of leading Ghana into what the Constitution requires as a referendum.
Yes, please, Mr. Chairman.
Now you can do your demarcations and we'll see. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, so we're talking of Western region, Ahafo, Bravo region, creating an Ahafo region, which it will be, the details to be given by the Commission of Inquiry. And it's important that we do not preempt what they were going to do. But at least, that's it. Then we have Northern region. Mr. Chairman, I have the statistics here, and I must confess when I addressed myself today, the 70,000 square kilometers, and you begin to wonder why we've had the region from Cote d'Ivoire to Togo and here. And it makes administering the region very, very difficult. In fact, I have documents here that talk about the former ministers who have been appointed to Northern region, the comments they made during vetting committee like this, and other papers that have been written about why we should not have, the regions should not remain as it is, and that we should have 2. Some even have gone ahead to suggest 3 regions. Then again, you have this part of Botwe region. That also is where it is being proposed that the Commission of Inquiry should look at it, and based on the stakeholders' consultation that they will have, and the outcome of it, therefore, the President, the matters we put for the referendum into hand. And Mr. Chairman, there needs to have regions, and the fact that it enhances development, accelerated development, can also be seen from this map. This is poverty. Ghana poverty incidence map, and this is from the statistical service. And you realize that by the legend, the top here is where you have the less percentage. And then I asked them why the coloring is so close to each other like that, but that's what they have. And you realize that, for example, in Upper West, because Upper West was created, this place, which has a higher, a lower incidence of poverty, percent of poverty, is the Wa municipality. Whereas all around it, as you can see, very high incidence of poverty.
Chairman, I'm compelled to come just for the nominee. Help us. You see, my son accuses me that I'm poor in colors. You have to share with us the colors. What are you highlighting? I just see some color which looks like some color, and then some thin blue and some yellow. I don't want you to fall in that trap. Share with us what you are doing with those colors there. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I did indicate that even when I went to statistical service, I had the same challenge. And I asked them that so many colors that we have in this world, couldn't they have separated? Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. That is very difficult to ask to a differentiation, but unfortunately that's what we have. But certainly, what will you call this? For easier, let's say red or pink. All these areas are where you have high incidence of corruption. Sorry, high incidence of poverty. Sorry, Mr. Chairman. High incidence of poverty. High incidence of poverty. And it makes good to reason that maybe that's why there's that meeting of minds that we should divide the regions and see that because we have so many, we have regions. We have regional coordinating councils. You go to the Constitution and the Local Government Act we just passed, Act 936, it talks about the role of the regional coordinating councils. So we have regional coordinating councils in these regions who will help to plan, will help to supervise, and should make sure that they follow closely the developmental programs that government have. And we want to believe that that will certainly accelerate development in the regions.
Yes. It's good that you showed us the last map, because my question is, regional reorganization and development has a direct link with poverty reduction as enshrined in the development goals. And I wanted to find out if you agree with me and what will be the steps to make sure that we'll be able to ensure that by creating these regions, we'll be minimizing poverty.
If you look at the composition of the RRCs and their functions as enshrined in the Constitution, and as I said in Act 936 also about the functions of the RRCs, you realize that they have the coordinating role and the planning, coordinating, and then supervising, making sure that the district assemblies perform as it's been done. And when you have, as we showed, you are supposed to be supervising or pretend to be supervising the whole of Northern region as it is. It's obvious that it is not going to augur well for isolated development. So that in itself will certainly to happen. Our chiefs will have a greater role to play. You know, there are two representatives of the two regional House of Chiefs in each RRC. So now, if by God's grace and by the goodwill we expect, we are able to create these 4 regions, more chiefs are going to have a better role to play. They are also going to supervise very well new initiatives. Certainly, it will come from new regional capitals. Almost every organization will have their regional headquarters, regional fire service headquarters, regional police command, and that in itself, as I tried to indicate in the WA and these environs, that alone creates, job opportunities. And then it helps in better supervision. And I believe that the program that will be rolled out, especially now that we're going to have $1 million per constituency, for example, and you have 1 district, 1 factory, better supervision to make sure that the people benefit from some of these policies.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so this is your first. Otherwise, we're going to one. This candidate, we're going to do one question.
Yes, but this is just a friendly one. Because as the honorable member for Tamale Central asked, Tamale South, he was asking you about your experiences as a general secretary. But my question is, why are you still called the general? Because we've had a number of general secretaries and nobody is called the general, but you yourself.
Mr. Chairman, my lawyer, I've heard my lawyer on the village they say the answer. Well, Mr. Chairman, we started the politics a bit early. As I said, my party, we didn't have a position of a national organizer. We introduced Director of Operation Research between 96 and 98. And that's when I worked at the party headquarters. It gave me the opportunity to tour the country very well. I remember first time traveling with the late lawyer Salifo Bawadiaka from Binduri up to Nandom to Hamili and staying with the people there and interacting with them, understanding the country. Then it continued for another 5 years as the general secretary of the party. And because of the closeness with the people, and maybe the affection that was developed, that's why maybe the name has stayed as it is.
Are you not being humble? Was it not the case that you were among the gallant men that worked to let the MPPC political power after some long years in political wilderness?
Well, Mr. Chairman, by the grace of God, we had the opportunity to serve. And as I said, I did tour the country. I've been to every constituency in this country a number of times. It gets to give the opportunity to understand the people, see their plight, and the desire to make sure that you be part of any system or any team that will work to make sure that at the end of the day, policies and programs that we pursue will go to upgrade the quality of life of our citizens, and that's their passion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Hello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and congratulations, Honorable Dan Botwe. The news of the division of Volta region has been received by mixed feelings. I mean, there are mixed feelings all over the place. Some people argue that the region is very small. If you look at the size of Volta region compared to others, it is one of the smallest. So what is really the basis for thinking about dividing this small region into two? Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, as indicated earlier, the main problem, the main motivation, is for more effective administration and accelerated development. It's more about development. And if you look at the poverty incidence map, you see that a very high incidence of poverty is in that area also. And again, a lot of work, and I want to believe, supported by technical committee or group that will be formed to support the Commission of will support the work that they are supposed to do. So you have people from lands, you want to have people, development planners, you have people from Sanskar service, and they all come together. And there will going to be a lot of consultation and stakeholder meeting. And the National House of Chiefs, and for that matter, Regional House of Chiefs, will play a major role in all these things. And I'm sure at the end of the day, we'll take a decision that will benefit all of us. The whole idea is to improve upon government administrative machinery and at the regional level, which will lead to accelerated development. And that is what all of us, all our people, that's what they are interested in. And they believe, just as it was said, I hope, I was talking to the General Secretary today of NDC, and we'll follow up discussion later on a different subject. But I hope to meet, for example, the General Secretary of NDC to find out the 5 regions that they were going to create. Which are the regions that they were going to create from 10 to 15. And why they were going to do that. So we're going to be a lot of discussion on this, but at least it's important that government makes a proposition and then all of us will discuss it. That's what I said. An eminent scholar that many people know, Professor Kumado, his paper that is here, I read, is talking about 20 regions, and it's assigned reasons why it should be 20. Very interesting documents out there that when I was assigned this tag, I started reading. And it's very, very interesting. Very interesting. So I'm sure that we should be able to put our minds together. And as I said again, if NDC's propose 5 regions, then we are proposing 4. We are not the only parties anyway, but it means that there's a meeting of minds, and it should be possible for us to pursue this agenda, because we all believe in the quick development of life of our people, and therefore all of us will put our heads together, learn from each other, consult each other, compare notes, and see what will be the best thing for the country to pursue.
The Upper West region was created some 30 years ago. The same argument for the creation of the region was development, high incidence of poverty, effective coordination, because then it used to be the upper region. 30 years on, from your own map, it is clear that it is only the one municipality that has seen some improvement in terms of poverty having been reduced to some minimal levels. But at the same time, the other adjoining constituencies and districts have a high incidence of poverty, well over 70% from the statistics. So this brings into sharp focus the idea that it may not necessarily be the creation of the region that will resolve the issue of poverty. Other things must follow. Do you share this view?
I did ask the government statisticians, the officer I met, the same thing, the same question. And I don't know whether, I don't have his permission, but I'll say it. I did ask my very good friend, Honorable Yelichere, whose constituency is next to the Wa municipality, Wenchau and other places. So why, I asked him exactly the same question. That this is the map I was actually holding a map from the statistical service. That this is what I've just collected for the statistical service. And if the incidence of poverty is quite low, the percentage in Wa and everything, how come just the next constituency or district after Wa is so high? And we discussed it. He shared ideas. And that was what I found it very interesting in this exercise, that people are open about it, they share ideas. Some of them even think that at times, based on the information that was gathered, how it was gathered, because at times it defies reason why it can be what it is. Then again, I believe that there should be also some affirmative action. If we agree that this is an area that needs accelerated development, and you created a region, you cannot treat them the same as existing regions. You cannot. We should be able to say that no. If that is the case, then the resources that go into that area, if we succeed in creating these 4 regions, you are going to build headquarters for the police, you are going to have to build bungalows, you have to build a regional fire office, and many other such institutions. So for all of them to enjoy the same budget as usual will not help you to achieve that. So these are some of the things I'm sure as the commission works and as there's wide consultation, certainly starting from this very house, because we are the direct representatives of the people. 275 people have been directly elected by the people. And if a new region that is being created, Western North, as very strong members of parliament like Honorable Ahi and others there, they should be able to help us, pursue this objective of accelerated development. And I believe that we will not just stop us mere rearrangement of boundaries to create a region and leave it like that. Just by itself, the region will develop. I share the same sentiments with you.
Let me congratulate Honorable Daniel Botwe. I definitely have confidence in your ability to deliver on this, what I will call special purpose vehicle ministry, to execute this very important task. And I am building on what Honorable Kabo asked about the relationship between creating regions and fighting poverty. I think from the map of the incidence of poverty that you showed, I think the only real explanation for the differential in the incidence of poverty between Wa municipality and the rest is the siting of UDS there and the investment it attracts to that location, that students bring, that service providers bring, and all that. That basically is, in my opinion, the only logical explanation of the difference. But the issue that he raises is, for me, perhaps one of the most important arguments that in doing this job you must have in mind. But also, as a country, we've been complaining about the size of government and how much money we spend on government. The creation of new regions and the replication of governmental structures in 4 additional regions. Have you considered how much cost? My own party proposed 5. You are proposing 4. Maybe you are even a little lower. But I'm just asking, have you thought about the financial implications for a country that is struggling with a huge public sector wage bill? Have you considered that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, yes, it is true that we should always be very conscious of the wage bill and then expenditure in general. But at the end of the day, it's the purpose for which we do this expenditure, because it is finally going to help in associated development. I have a farm in Trifopras, oil palm, some 100-acre oil palm. And I was there about 3 weeks ago looking at my accounts. So much money was spent on fertilizer. And they tell me that in Malaysia, they apply about 20-something kilos per tree in a year. Chief oil palm plantations apply about 12. And I'm applying 1 or 2. And then they were, even that one, the cost was so, and they were saying that, look, I have to apply more. I mean, this year I should increase to about 3 kilos per tree. I said, wow, very expensive, but what is it? That it will benefit, we'll get more yield, and therefore we'll get higher income from the farm in future. But for now, it might sound that we are spending so much money, but it will be important. And that's what I will draw. That is, yes, it is true that we are going to build offices. We are going to create this. There will be creation of jobs, which is important, and yet this investment in the infrastructure that will follow the creation of regions will go to benefit the country in the long run. Just as if I'm able to increase my application of fertilizer in my farm, I'm sure it will benefit me in the long run.
Honorable, so much ran on my mind when it comes to introducing new boundaries to create the new regions. I'm thinking of the existing districts. The introduction of the new boundaries can affect the existing district. Have you started looking at that? It's because there are legal implications of the existing district, constitutional implication when it comes to reviewing the boundaries of the district. Is that coming up in your discussions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, again, in my interaction with the statistical service, you see that we may not have to reinvent the wheel. These are topics that we have experts, we have professionals who have dealt with all along. About a document they gave me, a report of the Committee on District Boundary Disputes. This is something that they've worked on. The one Professor Benny has written so much on it, how they solve these problems, the reason why they come, and the way they should go about. A lot has been written. And fortunately for this country, we have very good people who know so much about this. And as I indicated, this will be some of the technical committees that will support this commission of inquiry that will do this job. And we can anticipate that, but I'm very confident by the people I have interacted with and many others that I'm sure know so much about this process will be of so much value that we should be able to reduce some of these incidences.
People announce Western Corridor Development Authority, Middle Belt Authority, and then West Eastern Corridor Authority. To me, you are dividing and adding or bringing together again. How do you want to situate this? Of course, I know that in many countries you have special development regions for specific reasons. And one of the reasons for the SADA or NDA as it was then was because of the historical disadvantage in terms of the development. But if you start to create 14 or create 4 more regions in order that you develop faster, then you are bringing 4 or 5 district regions together to form an authority. Don't you see there is going to be conflict?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm not very clear about that there will be conflict. And let me state it here that I've had a lot of interaction with the honorable member of parliament who just asked a question. And for about 30 minutes, we stood in front of the lift and he really went through this discussion. I think the point of this, if we are now having, you want to decentralize, bring government closer to the doorsteps of the people. And so we are creating more regions, maybe more districts, and also make sure that there's accelerated development. Then why are you also bringing some other regions together to form authority? So in one breath, you are trying to decentralize, another breath, you are trying to, as it were, concentrate power in one sense. So we had that discussion, and I did enjoy that. But as I said that, fortunately, people who are passionate about this whole exercise. And there are so many ideas that the more we consult stakeholders and other eminent people who are well versed in these things, as a nation, we all come to a consensus and pursue the path that will benefit our country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. Congratulations, Nick. I haven't listened to you. Your background as the former General Secretary. With this task given to you by the President, I foresee a problem in terms of after the creation of the 4 regions, siting of capitals. And I really want to see, I know you are very good in skill in, trying to bring people together with all that. I foresee this happening between towns and maybe tribes or what kind of thing. I really want you to share with us, should this thing happen, I pray that we don't get there, but I foresee some of these things really happening. That how are you going to involve, other stakeholders? And I'm happy you have the NDC manifesto there, and trying to compare, so that we see really that when we cite a capital in town A on behalf of all the towns that constitute that new region, it's not going to raise any eyebrow of something. So really, I want you to share with us as to how you're going to deal with some of these things should they happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I will repeating myself. These are certainly some of the challenges that we will face. And fortunately, for those who have indicated that they have been addressing or trying to discuss these issues about 20 years, 30 years, have given some indications, some of the reasons why maybe they couldn't pursue it. Because, for example, it is, almost everybody will agree that we can't keep on having, example, Northern region, over 70,000 square kilometers, as we have now, as one administrative region. But there are challenges. Where do you draw the boundary? Ethnicity, so many other things. But I want to believe that people of goodwill decided that this is what we all agree will help us, should be able to overcome these challenges and pursue the very objective that we have given ourselves. I'm very confident about that. And again, as I indicated, if you read some of the books from Statistical Service, that they never had it easy even when they are organizing census. That some people in certain areas will refuse to be counted because you have added them to a particular district or a particular ethnic area. But yet they have a way of going about solving these things. So these are people we are going to rely on in this exercise. Yes, we are discussers. You go to the net, or Ghanaians, very patriotic, some have even presenting papers to me, even though I have not been cleared by you. And it's interesting, documentation that have been there. The Professor Kumato lecture I talked about was in 2007, part of the Golden Jubilee lectures, when he said we needed 20 regions, 2007. And there are other papers that have been written that date back about 15 years ago. So it's a matter that has been on the discussion on the table for a very long time. So I believe that the way we have exhausted it, we are going to get our honorable members of parliament involved in this exercise. The National House of Chiefs, Regional House of Chiefs are going to be involved in this exercise. Statistical surveys, survey department, because many of them have done some work. They have some of these challenges, and I believe that once we have unity of purpose, we should be able to overcome.
I have only one question for you, which has to do with some legitimate concern out there about possible gerrymandering. And we all know gerrymandering to be where demarcations are done in a way to favor the political advantage of those who are doing the demarcations. We all know you as one of the most successful general secretaries of a political party, of the New Patriotic Party, the general secretary who returned the MPP to power after more than 30 years in the political wilderness. With this political expertise you have, and now you have been tasked to create new regions. What assurance can you give this committee and the good people of Ghana that you will be fair, you will be objective, you will look at the national interest, and there will be no gerrymandering, no demarcations to inure to the political advantage of your political persuasion or ideological background? I'm grateful, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the favorable comments. Chairman, I can assure your committee that it is the view of His Excellency the President that this is a national assignment for the interest of all of us Ghanaians. There will be no attempt at all to try to do anything to favor a particular political party, and for that matter, the New Patriotic Party. In any case, Mr. Chairman, somebody asked a question earlier on my experience as a General Secretary on electioneering. I think we've tried it all. And if anybody in the student of politics will sit down and study our politics in Ghana, you realize that these things, they actually don't help. And the Patriotic Party increased or initiated steps to get the number of constituencies increased from 200 to 230, if I'm right. 2004. 2004, Mr. Chairman, I was in the strong room of the NDC, strong room of the Electoral Commission, as we used to call it. And it took us, we sweated. It took us a long time. We had to wait for the results from Weja before the elections, the results could be declared. After creating or initiating the steps to create 30 more constituencies, presumably to benefit us. In any case, it went ahead 2008 and we lost. Then NDC also took over. They also created 45 constituencies. Even the 45, NPP had even 23 out of it. There was a lot of cry of gerrymandering and it's for the political advantage. Finally, after 4 years, they also lost of all the 45. So I think it should be clear to us that some of these things that maybe we do as political parties, thinking that it will give us some advantage, even if they do, are very temporal, and finally it goes off. The people of Ghana, we should all be now sit by and say, no, there's something that people are going to look for in choosing their leaders or parties or people to govern them. And maybe we should address that instead of trying to maybe get advantages that are very temporary. But I can assure you, and His Excellency the President doesn't have that mindset at all. It's for Ghana. I'm very sure about that. And we will work in a way that all of us will appreciate the fact that it is just for national interest. As I've said, Mr. Chairman, many people have written articles about this, presented papers, chiefs who have met over these things, have all done that with a view that it will enhance administration, it will also help us create growth poles, and then we will develop quicker than we are doing now. That could be the only motivating factor, and nothing will be done to create any unnecessary political advantage for a political party. That one I can assure you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, and to join you in congratulating the Honorable Dan Botwe. I've crisscrossed with him many times in the field, from Bimbila through Willesi, through Samaboy, through Asawasi, and through Asankregua, coming through Gomoa East. And I appreciate the Honorable PAJ's comment of the General. But you are not a lucky general. You seem to be an unlucky general, unlike the NDC general that I know of. when the NDC assumed office, he declined to serve in the executive. In your case, watching your CV, you had only a stint in the executive government of President Kufuor, 205 to 206, just 1 year. That's why I'm describing you as unlucky than Botwe. And then even today, as you are being recognized, you are to be responsible for reorganization and redevelopment of regions. You probably could be doing, we know your strength and we know what you are capable of doing. May I refer you to chapter 2, in particular clause 4, territories of Ghana under the Constitution, and to refer you to what steps I know you have already indicated. The Constitution, and this will belong to the region, as you rightly said, of a referendum. When should we expect you coming with proposals subject to lay down constitutional processes to do this, which focuses on devolution of power, reference Article 4? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, just as the Honorable Manager had indicated, the Commission of Inquiry will be set up, clearly instated in the Constitution, as is said, and then the processes will be followed. They will come out with the issues that are supposed to be hold a referendum on, and then the areas where the referendum will take place. So I can assure you again that clearly Chapter 2 of the Constitution that talks about territories of Ghana, Article 4, 5, will be followed to the letter. But beyond the letter of the Constitution, a lot of consultation will take place to allay fears. I'm sure, as I said, it has been discussed over and over again. Already people have been asking me, where are you going to draw the line in Northern region? Are you sure you're not going to favor a particular? Many of these things have come up. I don't want to give the specific example people have mentioned. But important thing is that with goodwill, malice towards none, we should be able to overcome some of these challenges and then pursue this objective, which will benefit all of us. But certainly, we will follow it. The Commission of Inquiry, I want to believe His Excellency is the one to set it up. And since he has, as it were, as I indicated earlier on, in our manifesto is only one region. He announced one in northern part of Botwe region. But he has gone ahead to now say that I'm going to create 4. And to have a minister solely dedicated for that, and also having set the deadline that he wants it to take place with the municipal and district assembly elections 2018-2019. It will mean that by the grace of God and by your kind, your favor, if we clear this hurdle, we'll start working immediately.